So it's like my brain was spiraling like, what, these people are gonna hate me.
Yeah.
Plus I can see them. I can't talk to them yet, but I can see them and they're all like jacked, head to toe tattoos, like the buffest, strongest, most masculine guys you've ever seen. And I'm like, I have nail polish on my nails. I'm like, should I remove this shit? Like, I only brought crop tops. I only brought a Speedo. On day one, I'm literally wearing a Speedo and all these guys are in like normal swimsuits. So I'm like,
Hi, gay. I'm PJ Brusha, they, them pronouns, your host of the BabyGay Podcast and the founder of the BabyGay community, celebrating the coming out process through storytelling, advocacy, and togetherness. I came out later in life and I knew nothing about queer culture. I'm still not an expert, so let's go on a journey of self-discovery together with amazing guests, diverse coming out stories, LGBTQI plus history, and everything in between. This is the BabyGay Podcast. Coming out looks good on you. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the BabyGay Podcast. I am your host, PJ Brescia, they, them, and we are here at the historic Black Hat in Silver Lake, California. And today we have a very special guest. His name is Nick Davis. He's a Broadway performer turned fitness coach and trainer who you can now watch competing on Trainer Games, now streaming on Prime Video. Please enjoy. Amazing. Nick, thank you so much for being here. We're so excited. Tell us more. I mean, like, how often are you in LA, firstly?
not too often. My partner's from here originally. I'm very much an East Coast guy from Boston originally, now in New York. So not too often. It's so far. It's like coming here is like for me going to Europe. It's like going to London. It is so freaking far. But I do love it here. Like I said, my partner's from here. So if I have a reason to be out here occasionally.
I agree. I'm from the East Coast and I went to school in Boston and I had zero connection to LA before moving out here. And it does feel extremely far, but I don't know. I feel like now the worlds are kind of colliding a lot more.
For sure.
Do you feel that way?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. And it's like the dream would be to like be able to navigate both cities.
Yeah.
I mean, financially, I would love for that. But it's just like there's like such pros and cons of both cities. So I'm like, every time I'm out here, I'm like, should I move? It's tempting. It's very tempting. I'm also like such an outdoors person. And so like this time of year in New York is just hard for me.
It's snowing
really
a lot,
hard.
right?
Yes. And it's been a cold winter. So like the outdoor runs and bikes and everything is like, it's tough. And I come here and then I'm like, it's perfect running weather, like literally perfect.
But you know, it didn't snow last year in Boston, or
not really. Yeah. It was like it's been a weird couple of winters, but this one I feel like is going to be bad. We've already got snow.
Okay.
It's
good.
like barely January.
Because I was nervous as a New Yorker that snow is no longer a thing in New York.
Yeah. No, we've gotten it this year.
Okay. Thank God.
Plenty.
Thank God. Okay. Let's go to the beginning. Childhood. So paint us a picture. You're growing up in Needham.
In Needham, yeah. Okay. So right outside Boston, just a nice little suburb. I had an interesting childhood. I feel like maybe not super typical because I grew up being like a performer as a child. Like I think it was 4th grade was my first like professional theater job. Wow. First like commercial movie role was like literally in 4th, 5th grade. So from then on, I was performing, which is obviously not like what a typical 4th or 5th grader is doing.
Right.
So I spent a lot of time as a kid, like kind of navigating New York and Boston at the same time, because obviously like I wasn't really going to LA for much. So I'd mostly just go to New York. So I remember the first day of middle school, so that's 6th grade, literally the first day I'm sitting in like some class and the principal comes in to the classroom and is like, hey Nick, like you gotta go. And what would happen is like I would get auditions day of, and again I'm in Boston,
right?
I get a New York audition day of. My mom would have to leave work, call the school, say I'm picking up my son. I would get in the car. So literally I missed my first day of middle school because I just had to drive to New York and do some like random audition for some TV show or something. So it was like a really cool, but also just like not typical childhood.
Totally. Side note, did you work with Boston Casting at all?
Of course I did.
So I interned for Boston Casting.
Way.
That was my first entertainment.
I bet we had years overlapping. What years did you intern?
I was interning there while I was in college. So it was 2011.
I was most definitely in and around Boston Casting at that time.
Wow.
Absolutely. From like 4th grade until 2016, I'd say.
Wow.
I was
Shout out
very much
Angela.
there. That's amazing. That's so funny.
Yes.
I'm like still a part of like Boston Casting emails and
Me
stuff
too.
because
Me
I'm
too.
like, sorry, I'm in New York, but
Yeah, that's hilarious.
it's amazing. Yeah, Boston was a surprisingly like, especially as a kid, there was a lot of opportunity. Like I did so many commercials and like movies and stuff as a kid. Obviously not quite as much theater. I mean, I did a good amount of professional theater there, but like you'd be surprised. Boston had a lot of stuff going on.
So now going back to early age, when you were showing an affinity to performing,
Yep.
does your family have a connection already to that world?
Like not one bit.
Okay. Wow.
Not even at all. I come from like the craziest athletic sports family.
Okay.
My mom and my brother played college hockey. My dad and now my brother are like crazy Ironman triathletes. My dad has been to the world championships like more times than I can count. My brother just did his first Ironman world championships this fall. So they are like insane. My dad is about to do his 41st Boston Marathon in a row.
What?
41st. It's
That's
insane.
It's insane.
So like the family I'm from is extremely athletic, but like not at all artistic, creative, like just very, very athletic. But I honestly think I was just like such a flamboyant young kid. I was like obsessed with The Wizard of Oz. I was dressing up as Dorothy and Glinda. I was just like so interested in just like being a performer and doing crazy things. So I feel like that is kind of what got me into theater. And it was definitely just like school plays. Teachers were like, Nick is the most talkative, outgoing one. Like, let's make him the lead in this kindergarten play.
Yeah.
And then from there, people just were kind of like, hey, like you're kind of good at this. Like you should maybe like get an agent or manager. And so somehow, I honestly don't even know, because again, my mom knew nothing about this industry, but somehow in 4th grade, it's like through word of mouth, whatever, I ended up with like an agent and a manager in Boston and also in New York. So it was just like so random. And my parents were definitely learning along the way of like, what is this industry and what am I going to do in it?
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And a shout out to your family for being so receptive, because that's also not the typical response, I would say.
It's true. Yeah. And like I said, it's like my parents had no experience with that. And I mean, like, especially my dad, like thinking about him now and how much he loves theater and like loves everything I do, versus before I was born, he probably like did not give a shit about musical theater or Broadway. But it's like, I remember there'd be times in like high school where I'd like walk in on him watching like Hairspray, the movie, or like watching all these musicals. And I'm like, my dad's from Wyoming.
Okay.
He's an athlete. Like this is not what he's supposed to be enjoying.
Yeah.
But like, obviously when parents like have that love, it's like
Support.
my passion becomes their passion. And like my parents are, just a perfect example of that. Like sometimes I'm like, you guys now love theater more than I do.
That's really,
amazing.
really special.
Yeah, it very much is.
Are you from a religious background?
No,
Okay.
not at all. It's interesting because so my mom's side of the family is actually Jewish. And then my dad's side, we were just not very religious. So very like kind of atheist household. And I really wasn't exposed to like many religious people. Like growing up in Needham, I don't know if it was just like my friends or the people I surrounded myself with, or if it was the area, but it was like all of my friends were Jewish and like all of my friends from home are still Jewish. So I wasn't really exposed to like Catholic or anything until like I got to college. And so obviously it's like you kind of have a certain picture in your head of what those people are going to be like when you're not exposed or like not growing up in the church. But like my partner is Catholic, and so it's been interesting to like meet gay people who are Catholic and be like, okay, like tell me about it. And it's been interesting because also like the show, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a second, had a lot of people who were very like devout Christians. So it's kind of been a learning experience for me to be like, get rid of those preconceptions and like be just as open. You want them to be open to you. So like be open to religion, even if it's not something I subscribe to.
Well, with your family being so athletic, they obviously instilled a lot of kind of hard work, discipline into you.
Yeah.
Were you doing sports also at an early age?
A bit. I mean, I was like, I come from a huge hockey family. Like I said, my mom and my brother both played college hockey. So I did play hockey for a while. I like absolutely hated it. Yeah. The thing about sports is like, like according to my mom, I was incredibly like good at them. Like I was very athletic, but I had zero competitive drive. Like I just did not care.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, I don't care who wins, who loses. This is just a made up game. So it was like sports were just not at all my thing. I probably played hockey through like up to middle school. And then by the time I was in high school, again, I was so focused on dance, but I had been taking dance since first or second grade. So I was really just like taking dance classes all day, every day, and sports were just like getting in the way.
Right.
I did like track and field and cross country for a bit, but I just like had no interest.
Yeah.
No interest. My mom always says I was like, loved the practices and I was like so good at the practices, and then the game would come and I would just like not do anything.
Wow.
Because I was like, I don't care. I'm like, I don't care if we win or lose. It's like, it's so dumb to me.
I was the opposite because I also hated it, but I was forced to do it. And I hated practice. And the games where I felt a little bit, like I have a little bit of a competitiveness to me. So like you could, I know that's where it counts,
Yes.
but like ultimately in all the trainings that I've done, it's like, no, you win the games like in the practice.
Exactly.
I'm like,
You're like, I don't want to work that
I
hard.
don't want to do this though. Like, so, but I mean, with this athletic background, I mean, it very feels in line with being a professional performer because you're an athlete.
Yeah.
You're an athlete.
I think people don't realize that. And it's like, people know, okay, dance is hard. No one thinks like dance is like super easy or, not going to break a sweat. But like, I don't think people realize just beyond dance, like just being a performer, like especially being on stage, if you want to get into film and TV, you can say like, oh, they have stunt doubles or, this is not real. But like on stage, actors, singers, dancers, like what they do is incredibly active. And also like if you're doing an 8-show week, which is like all the shows that I do, it's an 8-show week. It's like doing a freaking marathon every single week. Like it is not easy. So you have to build up like stamina. And obviously like taking 3 dance classes a day after school, like it's not freaking easy. It's a lot of cardio. It's a lot of like plyometrics. You're jumping, you're doing all sorts of stuff. So it's incredibly, incredibly athletic.
You took 3 dance classes after school.
So my mom's like story that she loves to share, like one of my uncles, like every time I see him, he will share this exact story. I grew up in Needham. I would drive to Newton to take the Green Line into Boston because I took dance classes in Boston.
That was my stop, by the way.
I would go to Elliott Station. I don't know if you knew Elliott Station.
Elliott Station.
Because it was a smaller stop on the Green Line because it was like the Riverside.
We were at the end. Our Boston College was at the end.
At the very end. Yeah. So I go to Elliott Station,
Okay.
and I would take the T in just because like driving at that time would be a lot. And also like at that point, I don't even know if I had a car. This is like freshman year. And so I would, sometimes it would take me like an hour and a half to get into the city. I would take 2 or 3 classes. I'd come back, but I'd get home at like 10:30, 11 at night. And so I would do all my homework on the train. I would literally do my homework on the train. Like even if I was like standing up, I'd be like doing my math homework on the T because I was like, that was every day, rinse and repeat. That was if I wasn't performing or like filming something. So if I was performing, then I like was barely even in school.
Right.
So my uncle shares that story like every freaking holiday because he's like, that's how hardworking you were. Like what kid like left school at 2 p.m. and got home at 11 every single day and like could only do their homework on the fucking T.
That's really, really very impressive.
Yeah, it was a lot of work, but it's
And where are you in of the sibling order?
youngest.
Okay.
Very much the youngest too.
Yeah.
Very much the youngest. Like everything was about me.
So, okay. So did you didn't go to, you just like went to a public school or private school? Like
Public school,
it wasn't a performing arts school.
No, yeah, it was a big topic of conversation like for my parents and I as a kid. And public school just ended up being the best decision. I think they wanted that for me, like in, growing up in New England, obviously like academia is like very important. And especially my mom's side of the family, like they're kind of all professors in academia. Same with my grandfather on that side. So like education was very, very important. And obviously my priorities were like in theater, but so public school, I think, was just a way to like make sure I'm getting a good education as opposed to going like to a performing arts school right away. Even though that was like desperately what I wanted. But in hindsight, it worked out well because I would get like, there were certain like child performer deals or like laws, I guess. I don't know if it was Massachusetts or if it was the state of New York. So I did miss a lot of school, but as long as I like got good grades, which I very much did, I was like a very good student, I was like got permission to leave school a lot, versus if I was at like a private performing arts school, I probably wouldn't have had that flexibility.
Yeah.
So it was nice. I'm like, my friends are always telling me now, who I keep in touch with, they're like, I never saw you in school.
Yeah.
They're like, you did not go to our school.
You like started adulthood early.
I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of work. Cause like I said, it's like academia, education was very important to my family. So I'm like, I maintained good grades. My claim to fame is that I had a higher GPA and slightly higher SAT scores than my brother, who is like very smart, very, very smart.
Wow.
And I'm like, I wasn't even in school.
Yeah.
I did that.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
amazing.
Thank you.
So then you were showing some, as you say, some flamboyance early on.
Very much so.
So let's talk about your coming out journey.
Yeah. So it's complicated because I definitely probably got into theater because of that like gayness in me, who was like, ooh, theater's a way you can kind of use that as an outlet and also be with like-minded people. I don't know if I was 100% aware of that, but it was just kind of like a safe space for me. And also looking back, like I was obviously surrounded by like so many queer adults, which I wouldn't have been if I wasn't in theater or performing and working with adults. But I always say that like my coming out journey was incredibly hard for absolutely no reason. It's funny like looking back on it, because I kind of like kicked myself for making it so hard on myself, because my parents and my family, everyone in my life was so incredibly accepting, and I knew that. Like, although I didn't have like maybe gay adult figures in my life in terms of like family members or whatever, my parents were just, I knew would be incredibly accepting. But I was just like, I don't know if I was not accepting of myself or if I was terrified that like maybe deep down they wouldn't be, because I made it like very dramatic and hard on myself for no reason. Like I could have at 12 years old been like, Mom, I don't know if I want to be a girl because I like wearing dresses and heels and painting my nails, or I'm like, I like boys, not girls. I could have just like said that early on and it would have been fine. But I tortured myself for quite a bit, keeping it a secret.
Firstly, coming out is difficult for anyone at any age with any family dynamic, because you're restarting your life and you're starting over from scratch. You're diving into the deep end, and you don't know like what that entails.
It's true.
So that's the whole point of this whole like nonprofit and brand that we're building, is to kind of just like help people through this process, because it is such an isolating, lonely experience for most, and there's no rules or handbook. So I mean,
it's kind of like taking that step into the unknown.
Exactly.
Like you said, it's kind of like stepping off a cliff. It's like, this could go incredibly well, but it could also completely just burn up and ruin my life. So it's just like the unknown. I remember the night I came out, and then started like texting some friends. And I remember one friend who was like, not really out, but he was like, I'm like, it was kind of obvious that we kind of both knew that we were gay, but we just didn't really speak about it. And I remember telling him, and I don't know why this was so like profound to me, but I remember him saying like, I know it's incredibly difficult, because it's just like, it's like changing someone's perception of you. Right. And I remember that was kind of what scared me, is like, I knew that my family was going to be incredibly accepting, but I was like, but what if they like view me a little differently? And like, that was the most terrifying thing of all. And I always say that like, I didn't really intentionally come out. Like, I think I may have similarly come out later in life, because I came out when I was 18, like right when I graduated high school, but I think it maybe would have been much later. But this is like June, I think like 2016, and it was the night of the Pulse shooting in Orlando. And I had zero plan to, like, I think at this point, like my 18 years of life, I had never had a thought in my head, like, Nick, you're gay. At some point, you're going to have to like tell someone this. Like, it was just so pushed into the back of my brain. And like most of my friends were like, oh, Nick's asexual. Like he doesn't want to kiss a girl. He's asexual. But like in the back of my head, like it was there, but I was just like pushing it back. But that night, my mom, I think it was my mom was like watching the news and like went to bed, and I was just kind of left alone watching the news of the Pulse shooting. And I just remember like what I can only describe as like a panic attack. Like it was almost like just complete fear of like, obviously we grew up in a world where like school shootings were incredibly, unfortunately, common. And there was something about watching this that I was like, it was that fear mixed with like, oh my God, like, is someone gonna like target me because I'm like gay? Because like I see myself in those people. Like, what if that happens to me when I'm an adult? So it was just like an intense fear. And it was just like I said, it was like, I think it was kind of the only panic attack I've experienced in my life. And the only thing I could think to make myself better was to like go crawl into my mom's bed and sob in her arms. And it's funny because even that, at that point, like I couldn't come out to her. I just told her that like I was watching the news, and after maybe like truly an hour of just crying and her being like, are you afraid of a school shooting? Are you afraid of like guns? Are you like, what is it that is making you have this hyperventilation panic attack? And I kept saying like, it's more than that. It's more than that. It's more than that. And eventually she was like, are you trying to tell me that you're gay? And yeah, I was like, I think if it wasn't for that night, I don't know if I would have come out, or like what it would have taken to like just push me off the cliff. I think it was just like an emotional breakdown, and the only person in my life who I knew could make me feel better was my mom. And so oddly thankful for that, because it like forced me to do something that I could have like waited until 27 or 30 or I don't know, but I'm lucky that I got to do it as early as I did.
Thank you for sharing. I'm a believer that things kind of happen for a reason. So it's like, you just never know like what's going to cross your path and going to cause a reaction.
Yep.
And it's important that you kind of let them lead you, I feel.
Yep.
I think in terms of coming out, everyone has their own experience.
Yep.
And I think the most important thing that I want to remind listeners is that as you have to make sure that you're in a safe space.
Yes.
That, a lot of people don't have necessarily a strong support system that's going to be welcoming them into this new chapter, but it's important to maybe kind of do some of that research beforehand and reach out to BabyGay and reach out to other organizations that can be a sounding board and a support system for you in your coming out journey.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you can't do it alone.
No,
it's really hard to do it alone.
It's really, really hard. And that's why chosen family is so important. And this community is so beautiful and so excited to welcome you. So just remember that you are not alone. And thank you so much for sharing. Was there anything in the like pop culture? We like to kind of give advice to listeners. Books, music, movies, film, theater. What was there a piece of media that was very kind of instrumental for you and helpful for you in your journey?
I mean, my entire childhood surrounded The Wizard of Oz. Like truly every aspect of my childhood. Like my bed sheets were Wizard of Oz bed sheets. Every Halloween costume I did, it was like Tin Man, and then it moved to like Dorothy, and dressing up as Glinda, and it's like Wizard of Oz like was my entire life, my entire childhood, and that was like definitely probably the sign of like, okay, he's gay, he's gay. But that was like my most defining characteristic as a child, is that I was just absolutely obsessed. I mean, I'll have to ask my mom how many times I watched that movie, but it was probably that VHS tape was just worn out. I watched it so many times. So many times.
So then are you, I'm assuming, a fan of Wicked? Or?
Of course. Of course. Yes. A big Wicked fan.
Would you, have you ever been in Wicked?
No.
Okay.
I've auditioned many a time.
Okay.
Many a time. But yeah, maybe someday.
But someday.
It's going to be around for a while.
Yes, for sure.
It's going to be around for a
while. I'm sure it's not going anywhere now. That's for
exactly.
Sure.
Not now.
So how are you balancing kind of performing in school at that point?
Yeah, so up until high school, I was kind of balancing that, like, working professionally and then also trying to do public school. And then I went to Penn State because they have an amazing musical theater program there. So that was kind of nice because it was like 4 years of like actually getting to like focus on school. Obviously, it was musical theater school, getting my BFA, but I could like really focus in and kind of during the year put the like professional work aside, which is nice. Like I would work during the summers when we were off at like amazing theaters. But yeah, it was like a really nice 4 years. And also like I was out, I could like truly be myself. So that was obviously a very like formative 4 years for me, kind of figuring out every aspect of my personality and my style and what do I like to wear, and do I like to paint my nails for at school? What do I like to wear? Do I like wearing crop tops? Am I uncomfortable in that? Like just figuring out like my entire personality after 18 years of like, oh my God, I want to wear this to school, but I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
So it was a very formative 4 years, and obviously like could not have been a safer space to be myself. I mean, it was musical theater program. So I mean, obviously Penn State has its like as a whole university, it's Pennsylvania.
Yep.
But the musical theater program was a little bubble for us all to be like incredibly safe with each other.
How many people are in that program?
So it's 12 people per class.
Okay.
I don't know I think maybe now sometimes it's like 14, a little more, but when I was there, it was 12 people per class. So that's 48
super
people.
small.
Very, very small, which was part of the reason why I wanted to go there. But it's like you pretty much have for 4 years the same classes with the same 12 people.
Wow.
And I also lived with half of them.
Wow.
So we were like on top of each other for 4 years.
Yeah.
But met some
That's
best
amazing.
friends, so.
Yeah, I'm sure lifelong friends,
Oh,
right?
Of course.
Would you say most of them go to New York after, or?
Yeah, probably like 95%, I would say, are still in New York, which is amazing because then it's like you move to New York with this amazing community, because New York can obviously be like a little bit of a lonely place when you don't know people. So it's like a built-in community, which is amazing.
Well, so then you graduate, and I'm assuming, I mean, you have a leg up because, I mean, I feel like it's the whole now auditioning for Broadway, that's, very intimidating for a lot of people.
For sure.
But you're already way ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. In some ways, this funny thing about the industry, and I'm sure this is similar to like the film and TV world, which now I'm not as involved in like I was as a kid, but it's like you feel like you're at the top and then it's like, babes, you're right back at the bottom. So yeah, sure. Maybe out of college, like I had tons of professional credits and I already had an agent, I was like, a leg up in that way. But at the end of the day, it's like when you're in this industry, everyone's at an equal playing field. So like, it doesn't matter what credits you've done so far. Like, they'll help you get in the door for sure. Like, yeah, I moved to New York and a lot of casting directors were like, oh my God, I haven't seen you in 4 years. Where you been?
Right.
But at the end of the day, it doesn't really help that much.
Doesn't matter.
It's like you're still just with everyone else,
Yeah,
which is
exactly.
nice. That's why I love theater versus like film and TV world. I know we're in LA, so it's like I don't want to talk poorly of LA, but in New York, it's just like theater is humbling. So I feel like when you meet someone, you're like, oh my God, like I'm such a big fan of them. You meet them and you're like, hold on, we're at the same level. Like, and you see us as the same level. Like theater is just so humbling because it's like such hard work, and it's also like not glamorous at all. Theater is not glamorous. Like Broadway is incredibly tough, and like if you go backstage at a Broadway theater, like it's not that cute. It's like these like old moldy little dressing rooms that are like really small in these old buildings. And so I feel like theater people are just like so incredibly humble for the most part. So it's nice because it's like we're all the same. We're all the same. Doesn't matter if you're a barista right now or if you're serving or if you're on Broadway. It's like very equal playing field.
For the most part. So do you have any tea to spill?
Theater lends itself to people with big personalities for sure. So I'm like, in theater, you're going to find people who rub you the wrong way. But I think for the most part, again, compared to, I don't want to talk shit about LA, but compared to my perception of LA from someone who doesn't live here is theater people are a lot more real. It's just New York. New York like beats you to the ground. And so you can't have this air of like, I'm better than everyone else. Cause it's like, girl, you got like,
we're all
peed on by a homeless man.
Yeah, exactly.
Like chill.
Yeah.
Yeah. But obviously, it's theater. So there's people with big personalities who think they're the shit. But for the most part, it's a humble.
I feel like that happens in any industry, honestly.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. So now you're in New York, you're in your 20s and you're performing. Like, tell us kind of that journey.
Yeah. So, I mean, I graduated school 2020.
Okay.
So spring, I COVID time, graduated on Zoom.
Wow.
I went home for spring break from school, and that is when the pandemic like really hit. And so I never went back. We never saw each other again.
Oh my gosh.
We just never went back to school. So it was a really weird time, which is kind of how like my fitness journey comes into play.
Yeah.
So I always in the back of my head was like, being a performer is all I want to do. But I was also like I have this like athletic interest in me. And I remember like even senior year, it's funny because I like wouldn't talk about it much. I think because I was such a like skinny little dancer boy that I felt like saying like, I want to be a fitness trainer. People would be like, be so for real.
Right.
Like you're 140 pounds, you have no muscle on your body. But in my head, I'm like, I think I'd be really good at this. Like I'm good with dealing with people. I'm knowledgeable. This runs in my family.
Literally.
Like this is kind of like another passion of mine. And so I wanted to like double major or get a minor in like exercise science or kinesiology in school. And I like took all the prerequisites, but then it was just like, getting a BFA, you're busy. You're busy.
Yeah.
So it ended up not working out, but it was always kind of in the back of my head. And towards the end of college and like into the pandemic time when I graduated, like that's when I started like getting strong and I got into like CrossFit and started getting really athletic. And that's when I was like, okay, Nick, like I think you have the confidence now to be like, I want to be a fitness trainer.
Yeah.
And the pandemic like did provide me a bit of an opportunity to step away from theater for literally the first time in my life. I mean, it was obviously devastating, but it did provide me a moment to like get tons of fitness certifications and get an education in fitness when all I knew was being a performer. So it kind of took me a moment to pause and to get into like a fitness career, which I feel like helped me because now fitness is like not a side hustle. I mean, it's like it makes me more money than theater does sometimes. So I feel like if it wasn't for that time away from theater in the pandemic, I probably wouldn't have been as successful in like a fitness career. So oddly thankful for it. Obviously it was a rough time, but
totally. One of my dear friends who I'm curious if you know, her name is Maria Fiella.
No.
She was also in Cats touring.
No way.
Yes.
Okay, we must have done a different year.
She's I think yes, we're a little bit older than you, but
okay,
look her up. But I just I have gone through this journey with her. So I hear a lot of parallels there because I mean it was so devastating. It's like that's your life and you everything is on hold.
Yeah.
How long was Broadway shut down for?
For a while. I mean, it wasn't like a day where it just like all of a sudden came back. Like it was trickling back. Like I was a part of a lot of projects in that like 2021 period where it's like, oh, we're going to do it. And you like sign the contract and they're like, shoot, we're canceling it or we're postponing it. So it was like a weird time where there wasn't a day where it was just like immediately back. But I worked pretty soon out of the pandemic. Like I did the national tour of A Christmas Story, like the musical of the movie A Christmas Story. And that was really early because there was a lot of like canceled, like a lot of other tours were like fully canceled and we were like kind of running and like a lot of performances were canceled because of COVID. So it was like stop and start a lot. Even when I was on tour with Cats, it was like far enough out of the pandemic, but there was a lot. I mean, we were still testing constantly. And I remember there were cities where like I was left at that city because they were like, Nick, you have COVID. And so I just had to like quarantine for 2 weeks in like, I think it was in Denver or something. And it was like out of the show. Yes. Because that was just like, we were still following really strict because COVID was still very much alive at that point. But, and it was kind of the situation. Like I remember when I did the Christmas Story tour, the second we got off stage, we had to put masks on. And there are kids in that show. And as the adult, like we had to like make sure, because kids are like, I mean, they're like absolute, freaking like Broadway stars. But they would sometimes walk on stage with a mask because they're just like, excited to be there. But like A Christmas Story like does not take place in COVID times. So like it's a bit of an older movie. So I'd have to like rip the mask off them as we walked on stage. But Cats, everyone was masked, but we obviously had like crazy cat makeup and we need, our ears weren't even shown. So we couldn't put on.
You were masked during the show?
No. So like A Christmas Story, like the second you got off stage, the moment you got off stage, you had to put a mask on. But the entire crew for the Cats tour at that time was fully masked, like fully, like everyone had to be masked besides actors on stage. But again, you couldn't really put a mask on over our cat ear wigs, so we didn't have to wear them like off stage because it'd be impossible.
They could kind of blend it in with the cat,
I know,
maybe,
right?
I don't know.
It was just like, they're like, why is their mouth not moving?
Literally, wow. I mean, such a wild time, such an incredible time.
Truly.
And I feel like, I mean, just coming up for me, it's like these major things that you have no control over and they forcing kind of pivoting, but like ultimately finding major success in that pivot. And I mean, that's so incredible. And so then this has led to Trainer Games. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. So like I said, like pandemic time kind of really allowed me to start to like really excel in fitness. And what I thought was going to be just like, oh, I'm just a fitness instructor on the side and a performer mainly. Turned into like I started teaching on-demand fitness, and I used to come out not to LA but to like Orange County area, film on-demand fitness for a company out there. I now film on-demand fitness for a company in New York City. So I've kind of been able to blend like, I love performing, I love working on camera, and I love teaching fitness, and now like have this on-demand fitness career.
Yeah.
Which sort of led to this brand new reality show. So I am like a huge reality show fan, like a huge fan. I don't know if you're a Survivor fan.
I appreciate it. I watched in the early days. I have not kept up with it, but I actually was literally just talking about it with my friend yesterday.
Really?
I'm like, I love that. It's still such a thing.
It's still alive and well. Like the last season was so good.
Yeah.
It was so good. People like are always hating on like old school Survivor is better than new school, but I'm like, I love all of them. I love Survivor. So I'm like a big reality TV fan. Okay. I've never like applied though. I've never been like, oh, I want to go on one. I'm just like, I know. I am kind of kicking myself that I didn't apply before because I'm like, I should have just applied to like Survivor and all these shows that I love.
You can do it all. You can do it
I know.
All. Yeah.
There's still time.
There's still time.
So I saw a Instagram casting saying like looking for brand new reality TV show casting fitness trainers and fitness professionals. And I was like, wait, this is kind of perfect.
Yeah.
Like, should I apply? So I was doing a show actually in Florida at the time. This is like 8 months ago. And randomly submitted an audition video. And then that led to like talk with this casting director and this person and Zoom calls. And actually one of our casting directors used to be the casting director for Survivor.
Wow.
So when she told me that, I was like, so I actually saw her name in an email. And I'm like, I recognize her name because I'm like such a Survivor fan. And I'm like, oh shit, like I think this experience is like going to be big if this casting director is a part of this project. And then it just like somehow happened. It's wild because like I know a lot of reality TV show works like this. It's like they can't tell you like you're the person we're picking because they have to like scrub your social media and like do background checks, and you have to meet with a psychologist and do all of these things. And so I don't know if I truly got confirmation that I was going to go film this reality TV show until like 5 days before I left. And we filmed it in Africa, in the island of Mauritius, which is right off of Madagascar, like a small island off of Madagascar. So I flew from New York City to Africa with like 5 days notice. Obviously, in the back of my head, I knew I was one of the final contestants, but I didn't have confirmation. And I also, you didn't know if you were going to be a cast member or an alternate.
Okay.
So it was like just the most random,
that's incredible,
last minute experience. But it was so cool.
I mean, I need to hear all the details, but it's so funny because I've heard recently someone else that was just cast in something like that. And it's like, yeah, they were cast and 5 days later, they have to like fly across the world. It's like
insane.
So fast.
It's insane. And from everyone I've talked to since, and like even we met some people who had done reality TV on the show, and it sounds like that's normal.
Yeah.
It sounds like that's really normal. Like to have it all pre-planned months and months before is not the norm, which I'm like, that's crazy because I'm someone who likes to plan my life.
Yeah.
But I like bought all the non-branded athletic apparel, all the beach things I wanted to wear like before I was officially like cast on the show, because I was like, I knew it was coming up. I'm like, I
have to be ready.
Yeah, I have to be ready. So I was like practically packed and ready to go before I even knew I was actually going to be on the show.
So they gave you those details.
Yes, and they sent us like a packing list, and there was a certain point where they were like, "Hey, Nick, like take off work," and so I was like, "Okay, like I'm taking off a month of work from my job, which means I'm not going to get paid for a month from them."
Right.
So at that point, I was like, "It has to be happening," but again, there's like nothing was final because they're like, "What if something happens, or they decide I'm an alternate, or something changes?" You know, there's too many gay white men with a mustache, and so like, sorry Nick, we can't take you. You know, like something could have changed at the last second. But yeah, I was like, everything was set, and then I got the final like, okay, you're going to Mauritius, and I'm traveling to Istanbul, Turkey, and then going to Mauritius. It was insane.
Wow.
Whirlwind.
What did you do the night that you found out?
So I actually found out at work. I was at my gym, and we couldn't tell people. So I'm like freaking out. My managers, my bosses, I'm like, guys, I have to leave for a month to do something really cool, like really cool. But I'm like, we couldn't tell people. I mean, we still couldn't. Like, luckily our some of our family members and like my friends and my boyfriend, they like signed NDAs because they like potentially talked to us on the show.
Oh, okay.
So I could talk to them a bit, but like I couldn't tell people.
Right.
So I just had to be like, and plus I teach a lot of in-person classes and have a lot of people who like follow me to classes. And so I had to be like, hey guys, I'm going to Africa. Like that's what I was saying. I'm going to Africa. Like I wouldn't say where, cause I didn't want to like give it away, but I'm like, I'm just going on a trip to Africa.
Just
and they're like, is it a yoga retreat? And I'm like, kind of.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm like, we couldn't really share details, but I like absolutely freaked out. And it just felt like it felt right in a way. Like I was like, this feels like something I'm like kind of meant to do. And in the prize of the show was a $250,000 contract with a company called iFit.
So incredible.
And iFit is like this amazing on-demand fitness platform. And so knowing that like I'd be competing for that contract and also like already working in on-demand fitness, I was like, hold on, like this is perfect.
Life-changing.
The only thing that would have been better is like competing for a Broadway show or competing for like the star of a movie. Well, but I'm like, this is like literally what I feel like I'm good at and excel at. And it's like to compete for that, I'm like, this is meant to be. It's meant to be.
Okay. Side question. How many have you entered the Ironman sphere before this?
No. So my family obviously are like huge Ironman triathletes. Like I have gone to, oh God, like maybe like 50 in my life Ironman races. Wow. Like I've been to the World Championships, which is in Kona, Hawaii, 8 times to see my dad compete there. God. Like he is insane. But I have like at this point, before the show, I'm like, I am not doing an Ironman. I'm like, you guys are crazy. This is for like sick people because it is so freaking hard and it's not glamorous. Like it is not fun. And so at this point, I'm like, I'm not doing triathlons. Yeah. And then I go do the show. And then the day I come back, I sign up for my first Ironman 70.3. Okay. And I did it.
Oh my God.
It was in New York. And like the show just like proved to me that maybe I didn't play sports. Maybe I'm not a huge outdoorsy, sporty guy. Like I grew up in a dance studio and that's where I spend most of my time. But I realized that like that athleticism translates really well. And so it gave me that boost of confidence of like, okay, this Ironman thing like looks miserable, but like you actually might be kind of good at it. Yeah. So it's like, just sign up. And I did it and I survived and it went well.
That's incredible. And my research, firstly, the show looks amazing.
It's insane.
So incredible. I'm so excited to watch. And what I really love about it is that it's not just like how athletic you are, it really is also focusing on your leadership skills and your empathy. And it just feels like your natural previous life is a perfect fit for all of that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think obviously being an amazing athlete and being an amazing fitness coach and trainer are like 2 completely different skill sets. And I feel like being a part of the show kind of made me realize how being a queer person, like specifically being like a gay man, I feel like in comparison to my competitors or just like in the industry and all, not necessarily just talking about the show, like other male fitness trainers, like being queer allows you to like get along and talk to more people. Like there's something about like a straight male trainer that's just like doesn't know how to like empathize and like talk to someone. It's almost like when someone says like something's really hard, they're like, well, it was easy for me.
Right.
Like, why can't you do it? Versus like I spent 22 years of my life being terrified of the gym. Terrified. I was like, I'm way too skinny and gay to be lifting weights with all these bros. Yeah. So I'm like, I understand what it is to be at the beginning of the journey versus like some guy who's just like always been good at sports and always been crushing it in the weight room who like doesn't have that experience of like, what does it feel like to feel incredibly out of place? Mm-hmm. And then get to the point where I'm like, now I'm comfortable. I walk into a gym and I'm not like intimidated. I'm like lifting just as heavy as a lot of the guys there. So I'm not, I have that confidence now, but I know how to like build that up and also to like empathize with someone who's like terrified of the gym and be like, trust me, I was for 22 years. Like, I get it. So like, let's find ways to like move slowly, or maybe we don't go to the gym. Maybe we like work out at home and find a safe space, or let me find a gym for you that's more inclusive. So it's like kind of like a superpower in a way versus like a trainer who is like so stuck and rigid and not able to get that like emotional connection, which is like a huge part of training. Like a fitness journey can be incredibly emotional. Like people can be very like hard on themselves and it can be really toxic. And so there's a lot of like kind of mindset coaching and kind of like unlearning that you have to do to just like get people to like have a healthy fitness journey and not just like a like physically healthy, but like mentally unhealthy journey.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, from teachers that I've had in the past that really stick out to me are the ones that kind of push you in like such subtle ways that you don't even realize you're being pushed, but like they make it so it's kind of understandable and attainable, and you kind of, it's always good to push yourself out of your comfort zone, because I feel like that's where the growth is.
Yes.
But when there's someone that's kind of coming at you with zero empathy and you're like, just do it because I did it. And it's like, well, that doesn't work.
Exactly. Like, that's not going to work for me.
Right.
I'm glad it worked for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's go back to your experience with Trainer Games. So like you're in Mauritius.
Yes.
What can you share with us right now?
So the pre-reality show period was so weird. And as a Survivor fan, like this was probably the coolest experience for me. Is like we were there for a week at this resort, but we couldn't speak to each other. So we're like PAs are like standing outside of our room. We're like individually each in a room. They're standing outside of our room, like escorting us to get food. We got 1 hour of gym time per day, and that's like really all we could do, like leaving our room. But it's like you could see the other competitors, and like was quite obvious who was a competitor and who wasn't. Yeah. And so we're like kind of sizing each other up, but we're not allowed to speak to each other, which is very like, they call it like Ponderosa, like pre-Ponderosa on Survivor, where it's like you can't talk to the other contestants. So it's like, it was the weirdest, but also coolest experience. And then we get into the show, and it was like, I truly cannot emphasize how batshit crazy this show is. Obviously, it's the first season, so it's like, viewers don't know what it is. We didn't know what it was going into it. I thought it was going to be like we're doing like bicep curls on the beach, like fitness trainer who can squat the most. But it was like dangerous, outdoorsy, like down and dirty. We're jumping off of cliffs. We're rappelling down mountains. We're trail running. We're running marathons. We're kayaking in dangerous waters and waterfalls. Like it was the craziest, scariest, hardest thing that any of us have done. And like the other competitors are Olympic athletes, ultra marathoners, Ironman world champions, military trainers. So these are like tough freaking athletes. And then I'm like, hey guys, I'm from New York City. I'm a dancer. So I was like very much a fish out of water, but it was great. Like I had such a journey on the show, because again, I came in just like feeling out of place, and I'm the only like out queer person on the show.
I wanted to touch on that.
Yeah, which is a big layer. Like in that kind of pre-show time, I'm like, I don't have anything to do besides sit in an empty room by myself, not able to talk to anyone. And so I'm just like reeling potential options of what could happen on the show through my brain. And a lot of options were like, what if these people are like homophobic? The fitness industry obviously can kind of get a little weird like these days. It can like lean very right wing in some sense with like fitness influencers. And so I was like, what if we get some of those personalities here? And obviously it's like a little psychological psychological torture to not like have technology in your phones and your loved ones. So it's like my brain was spiraling like, what, these people are gonna hate me. Plus I can see them. I can't talk to them yet, but I can see them, and they're all like jacked, head to toe tattoos, like the buffest, strongest, most masculine guys you've ever seen. And I'm like, I have nail polish on my nails. I'm like, should I remove this shit? Like, I only brought crop tops. I only brought a Speedo. On day one, I'm literally wearing a Speedo, and all these guys are in like normal swimsuits. So I'm like, fuck. But
you know what? You got to represent as well. So
exactly.
Thank you.
I know. I really leaned in. Yeah. I really leaned in. But it was a great learning experience for me, because it was like, just because I'm like, just obviously, I mean, you turn on the show for 2 seconds, you can tell I'm different from the other male trainers. But it just like proved to me, like at the end of the day, this was about athletic ability and being empathetic and being a good trainer. And like my fucking sexuality had nothing to do with that.
Correct.
And I was still able to show up as like a badass athlete, even though I'm like, yeah, I didn't grow up playing sports and I don't do outdoorsy things. I'm from like New York City and Boston. Like I don't do this stuff, but I was able to like keep up, and it was like, it proved a lot to myself. It built me a lot of confidence.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
What do you want young queer folks to get from your experience as the only out athlete from this show? Yeah,
I mean, this kind of launched me into like out of just fitness and into like sport. Like getting outside and running marathons and doing triathlons now. And like, you know, I'm like, oh, now I want to do a Spartan. Now I want to do all these like outdoorsy things that I'm like, I thought I would be terrible at.
Yeah.
But it's just like, we're capable of so much more than we think. And the sports world obviously is tough because there's not a lot of queer representation there. Like in the fitness world, yes. But like in sports, like especially male sports, like there's really not any queer representation.
Yeah.
So it can be incredibly intimidating, but it's like, if you enjoy that and if you think you have this like athleticness in you, it's like try to find a safe space because you are capable of so much more than you think. I mean, I think a huge part of why I didn't do sports, yes, was because I was like a busy kid performing, but also like that wasn't a place for me to be myself. Like hockey was like, I was never going to find my people and my friends through playing hockey in Boston. You know, it was just like, it's really hard to find your community through sport. But I'm like, I want queer people to feel comfortable in that world because it's so amazing. I'm like, I love it now. And I'm like, it's building that competitor in me when I just felt like it wasn't a place for me to live in before.
Are there like queer, I guess in New York, let's say, are there queer groups that are, you know, like training together, like Ironman queer
There
groups?
absolutely are.
Okay.
Yeah, there's like Front Runners, which I know is not just New York, which is like an amazing run club. There's like, I think it's called Out Cycling, which is like obviously a cycling group, and they do some like Front Runners as well, just like some triathlon training. So there actually is a lot for running and triathlon. And obviously there are like tons of like gay sport leagues, which I know so many people who like never played like touch football growing up, but then now they're playing because there's this like league. So it's like, find those, like, I know New York is not the only city that has those. Find those cities, because like sports can be so freaking fun, but they're like so traumatizing to like young queer kids because like that's not our space and that's not our community. I wish it was, but like there's so much like hate and closed-mindedness in those communities. So it's like, now that we're adults, and like find that league where it's like you can be welcomed, but you can also just like live out your basketball dreams, or now with Heated Rivalry, live out your hockey dreams.
I was literally
find a
just
gay
gonna say
hockey
that.
team.
Yes, like thank you, Heated Rivalry.
Yeah.
Like I know that's controversial or whatever, but like at least it's putting light and showing representation.
Yes,
because that's what we need.
Yeah,
and
we need it. Yeah, because it's like there are gay professional male athletes out there, gay and bi athletes out there, but they're clearly not comfortable publicly coming out. So it's like that kind of exposure, I think, could lead to a world where maybe more athletes are like, hey, by the way, like I'm gay or bi, and I've always been.
Also, I want to shout out Athletes Fund, which I'm a part of.
I'm very familiar with them.
They help sponsor out athletes that are competing for the Olympics. So if you're not aware and you need some connection, reach out to Out Athletes Fund.
And there have been some amazing out Olympians.
Yes.
Yeah, at the Olympics. More representation there than like men's sports. Yeah, it's amazing.
That is incredible.
Amazing.
Yes, and we all love Heated Rivalry.
I know. I haven't finished it yet. I've been so busy with this show, like doing so many things that I like have not been able to finish it, and it's torturing.
You're in for a treat.
I know.
You're in for a treat.
A good night.
Yes. Okay, so let's play a little game, rapid fire questions. What is the first Broadway musical you ever went to?
Ooh, I think it was Wicked.
Yeah.
It was Wicked. Yeah, I'm like, it's been around for a while because I think that was like the fourth or fifth grade when I saw Wicked. It was the first show. Yeah.
Do you remember who was starring?
No, I don't. I really wish I did. I know. I like didn't even keep that playbill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite part of the rehearsal process?
The first day. The first day is very exciting with the rehearsal process because it's like the unknown of like, ooh, like who's who, like who's playing what role, what little like features am I going to get if you're in the ensemble? Like the first day is always very exciting, but it's also like nerve wracking because you know that group is about to like be your family, whether you like it or not, for the next year or so. So it's like nerve wracking, but it's exciting.
You're like sizing each other
right?
up and stuff.
And like finding who's going to be my bestie.
Right. So was that like that in Trainer Games too?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like I was the one who had the experience of like what it is to just meet a group of people and immediately like live with them. And obviously as a theater performer, it's like that. Right. So I feel like I kind of was able to like kickstart, like, let's be besties. Like this is a once in a lifetime experience. And it was fun.
That's amazing. Show day rituals.
Yeah, a lot.
Okay.
Get a good night's sleep, wake up early, go to the gym. It's always the first thing I got to do, just like move my body, drink so much freaking water. If you were performing, like you've got to stay hydrated. Like literally first thing I do when I wake up is just drink shit ton of water. So drink water, get to the gym, have a little nice breakfast, big meals. I'm a big believer in you got to eat a big breakfast.
What time do you have to get to the theater by?
It's usually half hour. So just 30 minutes before the show.
What?
But this is like the privilege of being a man in theater is like, obviously you don't have as much to do to get ready. But when I was doing Cats, for example, on tour, it was like 2 hours before the show. Cause it's like, you got to do all the makeup, wig on, full unitard. So if you are like a woman in theater, like you're getting there before half hour. But, the half hour is like the required
I can't believe
call.
it's that
It's insane.
tight.
That's why if you go to see a show, like a Broadway show, for example, and you're like walking up to like see the show, like you could see an actor pass by you and like head into the stage doors. You're like lining up to get your
Do you
tickets.
have to do your own makeup?
Yeah.
You do?
Mostly, yeah. Very rarely would makeup be done for you. Like if you're like Elphaba and Wicked, like they're gonna do it for you. But even Cats, and it's notorious for like everyone does their own makeup. Unless there's like something super special that like you can't do yourself, you're doing your own makeup.
And they
It's just part of it.
teach you, right?
For sure.
Okay.
And I was not very good at
Yeah,
it.
that's like that's a whole other skill.
I know, right? I'm like, fuck. I'm like, that's the one thing growing up as a gay kid I didn't do was wear makeup.
Yeah.
And then I like get into these shows and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing.
yeah, same. I'm like starting my makeup journey. I'm like, I have
Yes.
no idea what
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
doing.
so bad.
And
I'm so bad.
It's hard.
It really
so, kudos to all the makeup artists
I
out
know,
there.
right?
Who's your diva?
Well, that's a really hard question. Right now, I think it's gonna have to be Ari. It's gonna have to be Ariana, just because like she's killed it in Wicked, and obviously she's always been like my pop diva. Yeah, it's hard, but like musical theater diva right now, like Jessica Vosk.
Okay.
Jessica Vosk, she's killing it. I don't know if you see these like street interviews that she's doing on New York.
No.
She's killing it. You have to look her up.
Okay.
But yeah, her voice is like unreal.
Teaching a class or a personal training session?
I have to say class.
Okay.
It just lends a little bit more to like my performer skills. Like working one-on-one, it's like you don't really have to perform. It's like, let's
Yeah,
just chat.
yeah.
But like being in front of a group is where I kind of get to showcase like how I like align things with the music, and like I get to be more of a performer, and I enjoy that more. So I would say a class.
Nice. What's your go-to workout playlist vibe?
A lot of Charlie XCX. I mean, I have to play like all clean music because of my job. Like I can't play like explicit music. So
Okay.
it's like so funny, like my class playlist versus like my actual workout
Yeah.
playlist.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of Charlie XCX. It's a lot of like Kim Petras, like
Yes.
some of the clean songs,
Yeah.
like some like Sabrina Carpenter, a lot of pop girlies. Like I'm not going to play anything but pop girlies
Yeah.
in class. And that's what like people are always
They want.
receptive to.
Give
That's
the
what
people
they want.
what they want.
Right?
You know, yes, exactly.
No men.
Gym pet peeve.
Gym pet peeve. I would say like judgmental gym goers. Like the gym can be such a judgmental place, which is something I like to talk about with like clients, is like if the gym isn't for you, like I'm not going to force that on you, because the gym can be really judgmental. And I think saying simply just like, oh, just like go and do your own thing, like no one cares, is like such a lie. Like
Yeah.
there are so many judgmental people
Yeah.
at the gym. And I hate that. I'm like, we're all there to just like be healthy. Like it doesn't freaking matter
Yeah, mind your
what you look,
business.
right? Mind
Yeah,
your own business.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
if that person next to you has terrible form, like doesn't matter. Like
Right.
just like be nice.
Right.
Like don't be judgmental.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you. One word that clients use to describe you.
Inclusive. It's funny because I love that word, like obviously just being queer, but it was something that like my managers growing up when I started doing like fitness jobs, like early on, they kept being like, that was the feedback they kept giving. And I'm like, what is it about what I do? They kept saying like, you have such an inclusive class and atmosphere. And I was like, what am I doing?
Right.
But
being
now I like
you,
to
yeah.
lean into it, because I'm like, yeah, I think I just like welcome all kinds of people. I'm like, I don't care if this is your first day at the gym or if you're incredibly fit or incredibly new. So yeah, inclusive.
That's amazing.
I love that word.
Yeah, that's incredible. And what would you tell your baby gay self?
First of all, just like be yourself. Like I was such an outgoing, flamboyant kid, and then I feel like I became such a like reserved like middle school and high school student because I was just so afraid to be myself. Yeah, and I wish I like was that kid in high school who like did paint my nails and went to school and didn't have to wait until I was like 25 to like comfortably paint my nails and like wear jewelry or like wear something like a little flamboyant. Like just be yourself. Be yourself. It's so much easier to like pretending to be something you're not is so much harder.
It's exhausting.
It's exhausting.
It's truly exhausting. And it takes years to undo that too.
Absolutely.
So don't judge yourself because you know I'm 36 and I'm still figuring out my style. So just you go at your own pace, one step at a time.
It's true.
Do whatever feels good to you.
Absolutely.
Okay, so then final segment is called My First Time. So this is where we kind of share to our listeners kind of you can pick one experience for you. It's like first crush, first queer date, first queer kiss, first queer sexual experience, whatever, like if you have a good story for one of those things, kind of to highlight that they're always awkward and clunky and that's okay. And I want to kind of share the humor in them because it a lot of times pre those experiences, there's so much anxiety around it. So kind of to demystify a little bit. So
it's actually funny that this came to mind because I'm like, I don't know why this story has stuck with me for so long, but I was actually doing a show in high school and this was the first time that someone asked me if I was gay. And so I think I was like a freshman in high school and I was doing the show all with adults. Like it's like a professional theater and I'm with all adults. And there was like, she was maybe like the head of wardrobe on the show. And she came up to me and she was like, oh my God, my friend came to the show last night and he was like, he thought you were so cute. Like he's also in high school. And he was like, I don't know if he's interested. Like he thought you were really cute. So if you wanted, like I could like give like exchange Instagrams or something. And I remember being like, I got so red and I was like, what? And she was like, oh, like I'm sorry. Like I assumed that you were gay, but like that was wrong of me. Like, I'm so sorry. And that was like the most traumatizing experience in the moment. But I think even immediately afterwards, I was like, that was the first time I kind of got the wheels turning in my head of like, oh, like people like might already assume you're gay. So like, maybe you are and maybe you can come out and it's fine. So I do remember, I think it was like kind of traumatizing and that's why it sticks with me. But I don't look back on that as like a bad experience. It was almost like a positive because I was like called out for like being gay or like maybe being queer or being different. And it like kind of like pushed me in a sense to be like, Nick, maybe you are like, maybe there is a boy out there who one day you'll date. So yeah, like traumatizing first time experience turned like something actually kind of special. Yeah,
that's really beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, because it's like, it's the universe kind of like putting this in your path.
A little hint.
Reflection.
Like,
hey.
And sometimes that's what you need.
We see you.
Yeah. Like I'm not saying this is what you are, but like if you wanted it to be that, like that's cool with me. Yeah. Like sometimes those are kind of nice.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you so much. Well, Nick, this was so much fun. Thank you so much for coming. Where can people find you on social media?
My Instagram is nickdavis_fitness. Everything else, like my TikTok, YouTube, is just Nick Davis Fitness. Okay, great. My website as well, just nickdavisfitness.com. Great. But you can also see me January 8th until February. It's weekly releases on Thursdays on Prime Video.
Amazing. So Trainer Games stream now on Prime Video. Trainer Games.
You don't want to miss it.
So much fun. Yes.
Crazy.
Can't wait.
Thank you.
And remember, Baby Gays, coming out looks good on you.
Very.